As a boy in 1820, I attended several different churches in my area and realized that the preachers at these different church functions, that the preachers seemed very sincere with their message to the people attending the meeting. But a curious thing to me was that the different preachers apparently taught different principles and different things, different stories concerning God and Jesus and life and what it all means and miracles and just different aspects of things that didn't really just wasn't the same from one church to the other church. And although there were good people in all the different churches that I had met, I could tell that a lot of the people, a lot of the brothers and sisters, had similar feelings to what I did when they realized that some of the different preachers from other churches taught different things. But I know I was confused in my heart and my spirit as what I needed to do in order to know which church was the true church. I thought that I would ask God about the churches and see if He would give me an answer to my question about which church was true, or perhaps none of the churches were true, and I needed to know that as well. I decided to go into a grove of trees that was near my home that I had gone to several times before, but just to relax and to, listen to the singing birds and the ruffling trees. It was a calming place that I could go to, that I could think about things and try to lift myself up on different things I was troubled about and concerned with. I just knew that it was a very peaceful surrounding, and so I loved that spot. So I found myself going into the grove of trees, and when I went in, I made sure by looking around that no one else was around, and at that time I was alone. So I felt a little bit stupid and a little bit awkward asking God, such a superior being, and me, a young boy, asking him a question, and to think that God would answer a boy or appear to a boy. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I believed in God, and I believed in the scripture that I had read that I needed to ask God if these things were true. So I began kneeling, and I began to pray to a point that I was almost begging for the Lord to hear me. And I was overcome by this dark power that tried to completely overcome my body and my voice, where I wasn't able to even get the words out of my mouth to ask God. I've never in my life dealt or seen any force like this that was seemingly trying to destroy me or to smother me. And I fought it the best I could and began to pray, to try to get the words out. And as soon as I did, there was a bright light that descended above me, coming down upon the ground. And this bright light was a very bright light. And when it happened, the dark forces that had me released me, and I was able to talk. And I was able to ask the Lord, ask God what I needed to ask Him. And I cannot tell you what a comforting feeling I received when these two personages came down and stood before me with this white, bright light surrounding them. And one of the personages called me by name. He said, Joseph. He says, "This is my beloved son," pointing to the other personage on his right side. He said, "This is my beloved son Joseph. Please hear him." And when that personage talked to me, he called me by my name as well. But he said, "Brother Joseph." And I began talking to him about the churches, about the things that I was concerned about and worried about. And he said that none of the churches were true, that I should not join any of the churches because they all had corruption in them. The people that ran the churches were corrupt, that they drew near them with their lips in their word service that they use, but their hearts and minds are far from them. And he did not want me to join any of the churches. He spoke to me in a very loving, just a very loving way. At the same time, he was stern, and I realized that he meant what he said and wanted me to know that what he said was the truth.